Like, subscribe, and share to Voices of Linden TV.
Welcome to another edition of the Let's Talk Show. I'm your host, Andrew James, and today I'm pleased to have with us in studio via Zoom, Mr. John Dolphin, a former Mackenzie High School student, year 1982 to 1984. Mr. Dolphin is an author and currently serving as a professor at St. John's College in the Bahamas. I'm pleased to welcome Mr. John Dolphin.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here.
Welcome aboard, Mr. Dolphin. It's so nice to see you looking young and sharp. Mr. Dolphin, for folks watching that don't know who you are, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
All right. Well, as you heard, I am John Dolphin, the son of a priest, Father Geoffrey Dolphin, and I am so happy to have this opportunity to share with you a little part of me. I'm the fifth of six children, and growing up as a son of a priest, you know, it has been very, very advantageous, very nice, and we really enjoyed it.
So, Mr. Dolphin, did you spend most of your years in Linden?
Being the son of a priest, we have been moving every 3 or 4 years. So I've never really stayed, you know, in one location for too long. And it has taught us, you know, different cultures, meet different persons, and to really enjoy the length and breadth of Guyana.
Can you share some of the different areas that you guys were able to explore and serve, it being that your dad was going around different locations in Guyana?
Definitely. I was born in Buxton, and I moved from there as a baby. Then from there, we went to Bartica, and from there, I went to Lagwan. From there, I moved to Georgetown Lodge. From there, I moved to New Amsterdam. From New Amsterdam, moved to Essequibo. From Essequibo, I moved to Linden, where I graduated high school.
Wow. So you went about every single, I guess, the corners in Guyana there. Very
Guyanese.
Very good.
True Guyanese, yeah.
Yes, sir. Do you know the Rosemonds from Buxton?
Actually, I am ashamed to say no, because the only people I know in Buxton are my family, because I left there as a baby.
Okay. All right. Very good. It being a Mackenzie High School show, any fond memories of the school?
Oh, there are so many, but one memory, I'm not sure if I could term that as being fun, but I was beaten by my principal in front of the school for something that I don't think was wrong, but hey, I disregarded his orders. You know, I was into sport, was into cricket, and I went to the National Under-19 trials, and he told me I shouldn't go, but I still went. I did well. I was on the sports news. He found out, and he made me pay. He made me pay. You know, I had to accept my punishment because I was wrong, even though at the same time, I was happy because I was selected, you know, for national duty. So, hey, it was good.
Who was the name of the principal that gave you a little whooping there, I guess?
It was Mr. McDonald, one of the best, one of the best.
Mr. Dolphin, what was life like being the son of a priest?
Being the son of a priest, you know, it was challenging, but at the same time, advantageous. You know, first of all, you know, back then priests were respected. And I still think today, you know, in Guyana more than anywhere else, you know, priests and religious leaders are still being respected. So the priest family, the entire family was held to a different standard, you know, more than anyone else. So we had to make sure that we kept that standard. And boys will be boys. And we try to do things that other boys did, even though, you know, my father would frown on it, or members of the public would see what you're doing and say, hey, your father's son, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So more or less, persons kept you on the straight and narrow. And I'm eternally grateful for that because it has helped to shape, my character today.
What advice would you give to a current religious leader? It being a pandit, let's go imam, let's say a pastor, a priest, from any of the religious sections. What advice would you give to the child or children of current religious leaders?
First of all, to be real, to be real with the community. Sometimes religious leaders, they are, I would say, stuck in their own world. It comes across as though they're up there and the masses are down here. And they do not see or feel what the ordinary man in the street, is feeling. And sometimes that kind of keep people away from going to church or going to the mosque or to the temple because there is that perception that they're not good enough. But for me, religious leaders, I think, should more go into the community. Don't send your junior leaders and so on. You go into the community, sit with people, talk with them, eat with them. I was about to say drink with them, but hey, let me be careful with that. But partake with what they are partaking with. Let people see that, hey, I am just like you. You know, um, the Bible said, go you into the highways and byways and the alleys and so on, and bring people to the church. So we cannot say that Mr. X or Miss Y, because they're doing this and that out there, they're not good enough to come to church. No, it is a sinner who need to come to church, not the saved person. It is a sick man who goes to the doctor, not the whole man. So for me, these leaders need to go out more, sit with people, just listen, hear what they're saying. And they have to, tailor what they're doing to bring these people. What used to be done 20, 30 years ago to get persons to go to church, is no longer applicable. You have to change things. Times are changing. You have to change with them. Yes, do not compromise your the standards of the church or the temple or what, but at the same time, you have to do things differently to bring those persons who are, quote unquote, lost into the fold.
Not all kids, especially like you said, you're expected to live up to a different set of standards. It being that your parent is involved in preaching or presenting the word to different groups, if I may. Some kids or children don't quite meet the expectations of an ideal. I know a lot. I do some reading. Religious books talk about the role of the elders and different leaders and so on, and the high standards that they should be held to. That's not always the case. How would you advise a person who's in that role, and it being that their child or their children is not meeting quite the expectation?
I would say, again, be realistic. And not everyone is, I would say, geared or ready made to follow, set standards by society. And this is what I mean. Everyone is unique in his or her own way. And we need to make sure that we work with that person to make that person, achieve the best of what they can. And there is no one pill for everyone, and I am I would say a prime example for that. You know, I was a difficult kid. It wasn't easy, to work with me, but but I had a support. I had a support from family and friends to make sure that, you know, Yes, I will not always do the right thing because, hey, I'm human too. All right. And you have to realize that, hey, people will make mistakes. You cannot condemn them. You cannot, forget about 10 years of good that a person is doing. And then
Mm-hmm.
you remember the one thing that he does wrong, and you make that, you know, be as though that is a person's character. So we have to be realistic in knowing that people are human, people are different, everyone will make mistakes. Our task is to work with them to make sure that they can achieve and maximize the potential that they have.
Professor Dolphin, anyone you want to shout out or recognize at this time, it being classmates from back in time or some of your current friends, if I may?
Oh yeah, I had, a lot of guys I played sports with in high school. Some of these guys I still keep in contact with. Um, the big saltfish, Lawrence James.
Yes.
All right, actually, that's my cousin, but we went back a long way. Brian Herman Stein. We had great duels on the table tennis table. Suit. Mr. Suit. We had good times with that as well. Eon Mason. Right now, he is a principal in, I think it's St. Martin.
Mm-hmm.
My very good buddy, classmates, Mackenzie High. There's a pastor, Roger Williamson, Pinny, we used to call him. He's in the US, I think. He's an Adventist pastor. Sharon Stoll, she was the only female that could have given me a run on that table tennis table. She was that good. And also, she gave me the best haircut I've ever had, even from a professional barber. Sharon Stoll, she was that good. Um, I had a daughter who went to Mackenzie High, Danielle Williams. Shout out to her as well. Damian Williams, Yolanda Williams, big shout outs to them. So, there's so many people, guys that I know, try to get you into trouble, but hey, like I say, boys would always be boys. We had fellas like Regan Henry, Ray Robertson, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
Trevor Paul, a lot of guys who remember Robin Howard. I can go on and on and on and on, but hey, just want to shout out these guys from my time. Let you guys know that, hey, you still in my thoughts, still in my prayers, and I'm hoping and praying that all will continue to be well with you.
Nice you said. In terms of your lived experiences, what would you do differently looking back in time now, it being 40 years ago you attended Mackenzie High School?
One of the things I would definitely do is to take more risk, calculated risk, I would say. All right. I was more or less the guy who waited for the perfect opportunity to do things. And sometimes that wait, I'm still waiting for some things to happen,
Mm-hmm.
and I wished if I had moved earlier. And life is all about risk. And nothing is 100% certain except that we're going to die. So what I would have done was to take more risks, do it earlier. And hey, if I make a mistake there, I will always have an opportunity to correct that. Things like a career choice or getting into a new business or, taking up another sport or things like that. Get out of your comfort zone, and enjoy life. Life is there to be enjoyed, and do not stick around places or with people who make you unhappy.
Mm.
So definitely those are some of the things I would change.
Good advice. Good advice. It's always so good to catch up with some of our more experienced and our more seasoned alumni members. And I'm very pleased and honored tonight to be having this conversation with you. Professor Dolphin, earlier you mentioned that it was your dream to become a writer. I mean, take my hats off for you for becoming a professor and putting Mackenzie High School on the map in the Bahamas for a good reason. Can you tell us about your book? I am excited to get a copy. What's the name of the book? What inspired you to write the book? And where can folks get a copy of your book? Where is it available?
All right. The name of the book is Fish Stew. All right. And I chose that name because, hey, my name is Dolphin. That's a fish. You know, and the book, it's a mixture. It's a book of poems, and it's a mixture of sport topics, of raw emotions, some comic relief, good advice. You know, it's a mixture, and I've had several readings of my poems. All right. It was available on Amazon. It should still be there, but I work through my publisher, Ex Libris. It's a print-on-demand company. All right, so anyone who needs a copy of that book, I can always supply them with the website. But e-copies are available, and you know that's the way things go nowadays. Persons prefer the e-copies. You could have it on your tablet, on your phone. You can look at it. All right, so it is available in Guyana. In Guyana, it will be made available through my daughter, Danielle Williams. You know, she would be the local distributor for that. And she's an ex-alumni as well of Mackenzie High School.
Nicely said. In terms of price points, what are you looking at in terms of cost of this book? If I need to get a copy, can I email you? Can you make yourself or your phone number available for folks who wish to get in touch with you, your old friends or so who want to chit chat? What's your contact information and what's the price point for this book?
All right, Fish Stew cost for Guyana audiences, that would be 10 US, or that would be what, $2,000, I think, yeah?
Yeah, about, yeah.
All right, yeah, about that. Yeah, and my email, you can email me on jdolfish@gmail.com. jdolfish@gmail.com.
Excellent. Yeah. What advice would you give to a current student at Mackenzie High School who's exceeding athletic excellence, but in terms of academic achievement, they're not as shine? What advice would you give to that individual?
I would let the individual know that the term is student athlete, not athlete student. So student comes first. And there's, you know, there's a lot of opportunity out there for scholarships and things like that. And it doesn't matter how good of a sportsman you are, if your academics are below a minimum standard, you're not going to go anywhere. And even if we were to, you know, apply our trade, let's say, back in Guyana, you know, you don't have a scholarship, but you still want to play, we still must have enough knowledge to make sure that we are not taken advantage of by scouts, by your reps, and so on. And I've seen too many stories where black athletes especially, you know, who do not have the education, so to speak, were ripped off by their reps and so on. So my advice is do not give up on the academics. Even if you're out of school, there's a lot of opportunities out there for you. All right. And, you know, with that being said, me personally, along with a couple of other persons, we would like to make, you know, a pitch here, you know, to offer something for, you know, athletes, but also who make the minimum requirements that are set by Mackenzie High School.
Mr. Dolphin, looking back, what advice would you give to teachers, of course, at the school as it relates to student-teacher engagement?
A teacher is never just a teacher. A teacher is a brother, a sister, a father, a mother, a counselor, a pastor, everything. And students come to us students come to us for advice on things that they're scared to ask their own parents. So first of all, we must be knowledgeable. We must be knowledgeable about everything. And if you don't know, do not be afraid to say, hey, I don't know, let me go find out. And we're going to talk about this after. Too often, teachers feel as though they cannot tell a student that they don't know, which is nonsense. All right, we're human. There are things that we don't know. There are things that students know more than us. And we must be man enough or woman enough to say, hey, I don't know. I'm going to find out and I'm going to get back to you. Students appreciate that much more than you trying to bluff your way around, pretending that, you are all knowing. Also, teachers must let students know that, hey, I'm teacher, you're a student. There is a line. There has to be a line. And what I find with the young teachers today, everywhere I go, they try to be students' friends so they can be more popular or seen as the cool teacher. And, there's always the temptation to bend the rules a little bit to make a student more comfortable. My advice is don't do that. All right, rules are there for a reason. And we have to let students know that, hey, you're the ones who have to meet that standard. We must not go down to meet your standards. Think about it. We were trained for a reason. And we were trained to make sure that we can make you be the best version of yourself. And in order to do that, you have to follow what is said there.
Being the best version of yourself.
Definitely.
What do you think we can do as a group or as an association to influence change in the life of one student, or let's say a couple students at Mackenzie High School?
One of the things I think we can do as an association is to have more dialogue with the administration of the school. Now, I know I am guilty. I am very, very guilty of not really having that much dialogue with my old school. All right, the last principal I knew there, Gary Roberts, we went to school together, but since he left, I haven't really had much contact with the school. So first and foremost, we need to have more contact. And in doing so, I think the association can adopt particular students, different, categories, different needs, and so on. And I can begin by saying, I want to adopt, or I would like to adopt, a sportsman who is academically inclined, let's say, and I'm going to be biased a little bit personally with the sport of cricket or table tennis, any one of the two. And, we can make opportunities available to those students. So to begin with, I would like to say myself and a couple other persons, we would like to present a prize at the graduation for the student who is or the most academically inclined student, who is your best cricketer or your best table tennis player.
Going both for academic and athletics excellence.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Very good. And I guess this is in keeping with you being a professor and you wanting to encourage students to be the best version of themselves.
Definitely. And, just to remind them that, hey, sports is big business. Sports is big business. But almost every sportsman who has made it internationally has that academic background with them. So you want to get there, do not give up on the academics.
What's your motivation for doing the recognition for the student in terms of their academic and their athletic excellence, specifically in the field of cricket and or table tennis?
For me, sports is a way out of poverty. There is always that rags to riches story sportsmen, and the most successful sportsmen that I know have that academic background with them. So I would like to share, whatever resources I have, to help me to bring that dream to a child who is prepared to work, who's prepared to work hard.
Mr. Dolphin, nicely said. I think we'll leave it there for tonight. It was an honor and a distinct privilege speaking with you. On behalf of the organization, I want to take this opportunity and the Let's Talk show to thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you for agreeing to work with us and the school to support a student in being the best version of themselves in terms of academics and athletic excellence. I will be in touch with you offline, and of course the administration of the school to work aggressively to ensure that that dream is realized and that individual, it being a male or female or whoever student, is recognized and they are acknowledged for their work on behalf of Mr. John Dolphin. Mr. Dolphin, thank you for being a part of the show. I look forward to talking with you again in the near future.
And thank you for having me. It has been a pleasure, and I hope that I will have this opportunity to do this again sometime soon.
Good night. Thank you, sir. Take care and stay well.
Have a good night. Take care and stay well too.